This video is created by Jagrat Creation. It is on redemption of debentures. I intend to solve one sum here before you. I would like to explain and solve here before you one sum on debenture. Just observe the sum on the screen. This is the sum which I wish to solve here before you. Indebted Limited issued 10% debentures at par for ₹8 lakhs on 1st of January 2012. Interest was payable half yearly on 30th June and 31st of December every year. Under the terms of trust deed, the debentures are redeemable at par after 3 years of issue. So 1/1/2012 is the date of issue, 3 years after that. So from 1/1/2015, redemption could be made by the company purchasing them in the open market and cancelling them with a minimum redemption amount every year 8,000. So every year 80,000 must be redeemed either by purchase and cancellation of debenture, and if the company cannot purchase and cancel the debenture to the extent of 80,000, the remaining amount is to be paid, or minimum 80,000 redemption must occur every year, so remaining amount is to be paid in cash at the end of the year. The shortfall would be made good by company by payment on the last day of the accounting year to the trustees who would draw lots and redeem the debentures. So from 1st of January 2015, redemption could be started. 1 lakh debentures are purchased and cancelled on 30th September 2015, or in 2015. There is only one transaction. So in 30th September 2015, so when we record the entries for 2015, first we have to write the entry on 30th June for interest, debenture interest. Then we are required to write the entry on 30th September for purchase and cancellation of debenture. And on 31st of December, we are required to write the entry for debenture interest on the liability after deducting this 1 lakh because it is immediately cancelled. In 2016, there is only one transaction. 60,000 is the debentures purchased and cancelled. The minimum redemption must occur 80,000. So 20,000 will be redeemed at the end of the year. So how many transactions we are going to record in 2016? This is a purchase transaction on 31st of May. Purchase and cancellation transaction on 31st of May. Then we shall write the entry for debenture interest on the debenture liability after cancellation of this 60,000. Then we shall write the entry on 31st of December interest payment entry. And on 31st of December also we shall pay or we shall redeem debentures by paying cash to the extent of 20,000 because minimum redemption of 80,000 need be done. In 2017, the only one purchase transaction is there. So how many transactions, how many entries are recorded in 2017? On 30th June, debenture interest entry. This is a purchase and cancellation entry. And the entry to be recorded on 31st of December 2017 for debenture interest. Now let us start. So 60,000, annual redemption required 80,000, purchased and cancelled 60,000. So shortfall paid by company to the trustee, 20,000 redeemed at the end of the year. Now these are the ledger accounts that I prepare. Debenture liability 8 lakhs, credit balance on 1st of January 2015. Let me write out interest date at the top, 30th June and 31st of December. Now, as I told you, in the 2015, there is one transaction. Before that transaction turns up, we are required to pay interest on debenture. So 8 lakhs into 10%, 80,000 debenture 6 months. 8 lakhs into 10% for 6 months, 6 months interest. 40,000 debenture interest account debit to bank account. After recording this transaction, 30th September transaction term interest will be recorded. So these debentures are purchased and cancelled. So purchased and cancelled. So own debentures are purchased and immediately cancelled. Then investment in own debenture account should not be debited. Instead of that, you are advised to debit debenture redemption account. So debenture account debit to debenture redemption account credit. Debenture account debit to debenture redemption account may credit. Now payment for redemption. What is the amount paid? The cum interest price is 98%. From that you are required to, when we purchase, we pay interest. For what period? Till the date of transaction. Starting from last date for payment of interest. Last date on which the interest was paid on 30th June. Here the transaction has taken place on 30th September. So 3 months interest will be required to be paid. So that is 2,500. So ex-interest purchase price will be debited to Debenture Redemption Account. So Debenture Interest Account debit 2,500. Debenture Redemption Account debit 95,500. To bank account credit 98,000. Come interest price is to be credited to bank account. Now interest is to be paid on 31st of December. On what value of debenture? Because 1 lakh are already redeemed and cancelled. So debenture balance outstanding at the end of the year is 7 lakhs. So debenture interest on 31st of December is to be paid on 7 lakhs at 10% for 6 months, 35,000. Debenture interest account debit to bank account. This is how transactions for first year are being completed. Now here whatever the debenture interest is there, that will be transferred to profit and loss account, and the profit on cancellation of debenture will be transferred to capital reserve. So 1 lakh minus 95,000, this is profit on cancellation of debenture 4,500, transfer to capital reserve. And this is the total debenture interest paid during the year, that is transferred to profit and loss account at the end of the accounting period. This is how accounting for 2015 is being done. Now I want to go for 2016. In 2016 there is only one transaction. That has occurred on 31st of May. First interest date is 30th June. Before that, on 31st of May, purchase transaction has taken place. Purchase and cancellation transaction has taken place. So let me work out. So here you are given debentures of 60,000 purchased and cancelled, debenture account debit to debenture redemption account credit. For the purpose of redeeming this liability of 60,000, what payment has actually been made? Let us work it out. You are given 60,000 into 95% ex interest price. This is 57,000 is the payment made to cancel the debenture liability of 60,000. So 3,000 is the gain on cancellation of debenture that will be transferred to capital reserve. But let me add interest therein. Now here when I purchase, I am required to pay interest. The interest is paid till the date of transaction, starting from last date on which the interest was paid. So here the transaction date is 31st of May. So 5 months interest will be calculated. So 60,000 into 10% into 5 by 12. This is the interest element. So total payment made 59,500. What is the entry for that? Debenture redemption account debit ex interest price. Debenture interest account debit to bank account credit. So debenture redemption account debit. Debenture interest account debit to bank account 59,500. This is how this purchase transaction is recorded. And purchase and cancel. The debentures of 60,000 are cancelled. Now on 30th June when the interest will be paid, interest will be paid not on the liability of 7 lakh. 7 lakh minus 60,000. 6 lakh 40,000. On that 6 months interest will be paid. So profit on cancellation 3,000 transfer to capital reserve. Now as I told to you, interest is payable 6 lakh 40,000. That is to be paid on 30th June 2016 as well as 31st of December 2016 because there are no other transactions. So 6 lakh 40,000 into 10% into 6 by 12, 32,000. Debenture interest account debit to bank account on 30th June and same entry will be recorded on 31st of December. Debenture interest account debit to bank account. Now the year is over, interest is paid. Now every year minimum 80,000 is to be redeemed. Here the cancellation has occurred only 60,000. So 20,000 is to be paid by giving cash to the debenture trustees, debenture holders trustee. So for that debenture liability account debit to debenture redemption account, debenture redemption account debit to bank account. This is how 80,000 minimum redemption is being complied with. Now you can close the accounts. So 7 lakhs minus 80,000, this is the balance carried forward to the next year. This account gets closed because already profit on cancellation is transferred to capital reserve. Here this interest paid will be debited to profit and loss account. So profit and loss account debit to debenture interest account credit 66,500. Now this is how the accounting for 2016 is being done. Now 2017. In 2017 there is only one transaction, 31st of July, 90,000. This is the purchase of debentures, own debentures purchased for cancellation. Now 31st of July is the date of purchase. Now before that, interest at 30th June will turn up. So we are required to pay interest on 30th June. 6,20,000 into 10% into 6 by 12, 31,000. Debenture interest account debit to bank account credit. This is how debenture interest is to be paid on 30th June. Then and then you can record the transaction that has occurred on 31st of July. Now this is term interest purchase and the debentures are cancelled. Debenture account debit to debenture redemption account credit. Now to redeem this 90,000, what exact amount paid? Let me work it out. So 96,000 is the term interest price. From that you are required to remove the interest element because it is a price with interest. And for redemption, the redemption account is to be debited with the X interest price. But the interest is to be calculated up to 31st of July, starting from last 30th June. So 1 month interest will be calculated. So 1 month interest. So this is X interest price. Debenture interest account debit to bank account. Debenture redemption account debit to bank account. So 90,000 liability paid by giving 85,650. Profit on cancellation will be transferred to capital reserve. Now this is the entry is recorded on what date? 31st of July. Now in this year 90,000 redemption has taken place. Minimum redemption required is 80,000. Here the redemption is more than 80,000. So we should not bother to transfer any funds to debenture trustees. Now you are required to pay interest on 31st of December also. So 6,20,000 minus 90,000. This is the outstanding balances on 31st of December, 5,30,000. On 5,30,000 you are required to pay interest for 6 months on 31st of December. That works out to be 26,500. Debenture interest account debit to bank account. Now close this account. Profit on cancellation will be transferred to capital reserve. 4350 transfer to capital reserve. And this debenture interest paid will be transferred to profit and loss account 58,250. Profit and loss account debit to debenture interest account credit 58,250. This is how this sum gets solved. I have tried to explain you this sum. I feel that you follow all these things. Thanks to all of you.